Hello and good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shuhaida Arifin and you're watching News at 10. Our headlines tonight. Washington, a vital partner to Malaysia in various aspects. Bangladeshi, Indonesian workers ready to be brought in any time. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob acknowledged Washington as an important partner in various aspects, especially in management of the COVID-19 pandemic. He said the United States has helped a lot in helping Malaysians by contributing vaccines for the public use.
Dalam bidang ekonomi sebagai contoh dari segi investment, dari segi pelaburan. Amerika merupakan pelabur yang terbesar di dalam negara kita, dan dari segi dagangan Amerika jatuh nombor 3 atau 4 dari segi dagangan. Dan dari segi hubungan defense, hubungan antara Amerika dan Malaysia dari segi defense, Amerika banyak membantu kita sepanjang tahun hingga tahun 2022 dari segi asisten dia tentang defense melebihi lagi pada 200 juta US dollar. Begitu juga dari segi pandemik, waktu kita mengalami sekarang suatu pandemik COVID-19, US banyak membantu kita. Sebagai contoh, memberikan kita secara cuma bantuan Pfizer vaksin sebanyak 1 juta.
The Premier said this during a celebratory lunch to commemorate Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi's first visit to Malaysia. Pelosi said the diplomatic relations between the two countries spans for over 6 decades, making it highly special and valuable.
To hear from you, to learn from you, to pay our respects, to share our values, and to collaborate more closely. Malaysia is very important. We've had over 60 years of relationship between the United States and Malaysia. We value that relationship. We come to, as I say, pay our respects and learn about security, how we work together on security, on economic prosperity, and on governance, whether it's COVID, whether it's climate change, many issues that we should discuss at a meeting.
On April 2014, the diplomatic relations between Washington and Kuala Lumpur was upgraded to comprehensive partnership. 99 projects as well as research and development programs, commercialization and innovation with costs amounting to 5.6 billion ringgit have been approved. The projects were intended to support the development of innovation in Malaysia throughout the period of 2021 to 2022 under the 12 Malaysia Plan. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, in announcing the matter, explained that the government will increase commercialization and innovation drive to create even more products and industry-based solutions.
Lebih banyak insentif perlu disediakan bagi mewujudkan lebih banyak syarikat pemula berasas teknologi, termasuk merangka strategi ekosistem inovasi terbuka bagi merancangkan inovasi negara menerusi penggembelingan idea semua pihak yang terbabit.
He said this when opening the Malaysia Innovates Conference 2022 in the nation's capital today. Meanwhile, the government has targeted for 5,000 startup companies and 5 unicorn-level companies worth over $1 billion by 2025. 3 entities were also established as part of efforts to place Malaysia on par with advanced countries based on innovation such as South Korea, Switzerland and Singapore. The 2022 Malaysia Innovates Conference is slated to be the starting point for efforts to put innovation as country's economic growth catalyst in various sectors. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Economy, Datuk Seri Mustafa Muhammad said the conference will create bigger synergies among stakeholders and industry players, while reiterated government's commitment in putting innovation as the main driving force behind Malaysia's economic growth.
Semoga ini akan menjadi titik permulaan untuk kita bergabung tenaga, untuk kita bekerjasama dan mengurangkan amalan silo. Dan itu kita akan dapat mencapai kejayaan dalam inovasi, termasuklah inovasi tempatan.
Since the establishment of the Research Management Unit RMU under the Ministry's Economic Planning Unit EPU, 26 engagement sessions have been organised since last year, with the involvement of over 700 stakeholders from government ministries and agencies, researchers, public and private higher learning institutions. There was no radiation or radioactive elements detected on the two objects that crashed into Sarawak recently, believed to be debris from a Chinese space rocket. The Science, Technology and Innovation Ministry mostly said the matter was confirmed by a team which carried out further investigations onto the objects on Monday. 4 officers of the Bintulu District Atomic Energy Licensing Board, together with the Hazardous Material Team Hazmat of the Fire and Rescue Department and the Bintulu District Police, have conducted an investigation at the first location in Kampung Nyalau. Investigation on the second object revealed similar results, and Mosti concluded the 2 objects are safe for further analysis. Mosti, through the Malaysian Space Agency MISA, in collaboration with the Department of Chemistry, will carry out a detailed investigation to confirm whether or not the objects are related to the re-entry incident of debris from China's Long March 5B rocket. The results of the investigation will be notified and appropriate action will be considered in accordance with the Act 834 of the Malaysian Space Board Act 2022. A former director of a real estate company pleaded not guilty in the Sessions Court here today to charges of cheating a company over a loan of 5 million ringgit 5 years ago. Teo Su Beng, 56, also pleaded not guilty to committing criminal breach of trust CBT and to an alternative charge with the dishonest misappropriation of property. On the charge of cheating, Teo was alleged to have cheated Puas Murni Sendirian Berhad into giving a loan of 5 million ringgit through an agreement dated 25th May 2017. He was alleged to have deceived Puas Murni Sendirian Berhad into believing that 4 properties belonging to him, comprising 4 residential units in Pulau Pinang, were to be used as security for the loan. It prompted the company to give him the 5 million ringgit, which the company would not have given the loan if it knew it was not so. Teo was also charged with CBT in having sold the 4 properties which were used as collateral for the 5 million ringgit loan. Teo also faced an alternative charge for dishonest misappropriation of property involving the 4 property that were used as collateral in the loan in an agreement signed with Puas Murni. Judge Kamaruddin Kamsun allowed him bail of 50,000 ringgit with 1 surety for all charges and set 21st September for mention. Deputy Public Prosecutor Norliana Muhammad Jafri prosecuted, while Teo is represented by lawyer S. Ravitharan. A chief executive officer of an investment company today claimed trial at the Butterworth Sessions Court to 3 counts of cheating involving 100,000 ringgit in 2020. Abdul Wahab S. Muhammad Maidin, 53, pleaded not guilty to all charges separately before Judge Nur Aini Yusof and Judge Nur Hayati Muhammad Yunus. In Nur Aini's court, Abdul Wahab was accused of duping Ng Beng Huat and Chan Ui Cheng into depositing 30,000 ringgit and 50,000 ringgit respectively into a bank account belonging to Green Age Solar Technology Sendirian Berhad in return for a hibah profit at the Perai Industrial Area in Seberang Perai Tengah between 19 and 21st April. Pleading for lower bail, lawyer Aznil Majid said his client is suffering from heart disease and back problems. The case was prosecuted by Deputy Public Prosecutor Muhammad Sheikh Al-Chip Murad. Noraini allowed bail of 10,000 ringgit with one surety for each charge. Meanwhile, in Nur Hayati's court, Abdul Wahab also pleaded not guilty to the charge of duping Lee Cho Jin into depositing 20,000 ringgit into the same account for the same purposes at the same location between 22nd and 23rd April. The court allowed the accused bail of 10,000 ringgit with one surety. Deputy Public Prosecutor Catherine Harun prosecuted the case. Both courts set 2nd September for mention. 132 police reports in connection with cases of fraudulent Hajj and Umrah packages using the Furada visa have been recorded as of last Sunday, involving losses of over 5 million ringgit. Royal Malaysia Police PDRM Secretary Datuk Nursiah Muhammad Sa'duddin said the reports involved 336 victims who had been duped by 3 private travel companies. Through a statement, Datuk Nursiah informed that Kuala Lumpur recorded the highest number of reports lodged with 52 cases, followed by Selangor 33. Meanwhile, 18 reports were lodged in Pahang, 7 in Johor and 6 each in Kelantan and Perak. Kedah has 3 reports, 2 in Terengganu, while Pulau Pinang and Negeri Sembilan have 1 report each. 23 investigation papers have been opened, with 5 of them were already complete and will be referred to the Attorney General's chamber for further actions. Last month, about 380 prospective Hajj pilgrims were stranded at the Kuala Lumpur International Airports, believed to have been the victims of Furada visa fraud by local private tourism agency. The Human Resources Ministry has resolved the process of foreign workers' entry, especially involving those from Bangladesh and Indonesia. Its Minister Datuk Seri M. Saravanan said it is now up to employers to bring in the workers at any time they want.
Serah kepada majikan. Selepas ini bukan lagi tanggungjawab kementerian. Kementerian telah menyelesaikan semua proses usulnya daripada Bangladesh dan Indonesia. Sekarang serah kepada majikan. Mereka boleh masuk, bila-bila masuk mereka boleh ambil.
He said this at the Ministry's Excellence Service Awards presentation in Putrajaya today. Indonesia has agreed to retract all restrictions on Indonesian domestic workers (PDI) as well as Indonesian labour (TKI) to Malaysia, which was supposed to begin on 1st August. Both Malaysia and Indonesia came to an agreement to integrate the existing systems between the Immigration Department and the Indonesian Republic High Ambassador. The integration of this system will act as a single channel for the recruitment and entry of PDI into Malaysia, as agreed in the previous Memorandum of Understanding (MOU). The government is committed to improve enforcement, prosecution, as well as strengthen the protection for victims of human trafficking and eradicate the crime altogether. Home Minister Datuk Seri Hamzah Zainuddin said to ensure its effectiveness, information sharing between non-governmental organisations, civil society organisation, media and rakyat is crucial. Elaborating on the matter, Datuk Seri Hamzah said those groups could assist the government in providing protection and support to the victims, as well as in organising prevention and awareness programs to educate the people about the crime.
Pihak syarikat dan majikan pula berperanan untuk melaksanakan amalan perburuhan yang baik selaras dengan perundangan domestik berkaitan dan juga piawaian di peringkat global. Syarikat dan majikan juga digesa untuk mematuhi sepenuhnya undang-undang perburuhan negara bagi mengelakkan diambil tindakan atas kesalahan-kesalahan seperti pemerdagangan orang dan buruh paksa.
He said this when tabling the government's response to the United States Department of State's 2022 Trafficking in Persons (TIP) report during the Dewan Rakyat sitting today. The report is a global assessment carried out by the US on 188 countries in the aspects of enforcement and prosecution, prevention and protection, which saw Malaysia being ranked in Tier 3 for the 2nd consecutive year. The minister refuted the allegation that Malaysia did not have any safe house for human trafficking victims, as there were 10 safe houses for human trafficking victims in Malaysia, 8 of which were under the supervision of the Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development, and 2 others operated by NGO. A motion tabled by the Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin to refer the control of tobacco products and smoking bill 2022 to the Parliamentary Special Select Committee PSSC for fine-tuning has been passed in the Dewan Rakyat. The committee will look into the enforcement clause as well as proposed penalties under the bill, otherwise known as the Tobacco Generational Endgame GEG. Khairi said it will also recommend improvements and study proposals mooted by members of parliament during debates to select committees.
Suatu usul bagi menyerahkan rang Undang-Undang Kawalan Produk Tembakau dan Merokok 2022 kepada jawatan kuasa pilihan yang dinamakan Jawatan Kuasa Pilihan Khas untuk membuat syur-syur mengenai 1. Meneliti bahagian 9 penguatkuasaan dalam rang undang-undang dan mencadangkan apa-apa penambahbaikan sekiranya perlu tertakluk kepada undang-undang yang berkuat kuasa. 2. Meneliti fasal-fasal berhubung dengan penalti bagi kesalahan dalam rang undang-undang dan mencadangkan apa-apa penambahbaikan sekiranya perlu.
Khairi said the PSSC is also tasked with preparing proposed improvements to the bill to control the sale of tobacco products, smoking items, tobacco substitutes and smoking devices within a month. Most of the International Aviation Safety Assessment IASA audit findings following the downgrading of the Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia CAAM have been resolved. Transport Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Wee Ka Siong told the Dewan Rakyat today that out of 29 audit findings, 26 had been resolved based on the re-auditing session conducted by the United States Federal Aviation Administration FAA on CAAM from 6th to 10th December. However, he said 3 findings are still not closed, with 2 of them related to legal aspects and the other concern technical and training aspect involving the preparation of syllabus for CAAM inspectors.
Dalam hubungan ini, tindakan-tindakan pembetulan bagi menutup ketiga dapatan tersebut telah dikemukakan kepada pihak FAA pada 25 Julai 2022. Selanjutnya, pihak FAA akan membuat keputusan berhubung pendarafan semula dalam jangka masa yang terdekat dan diumumkan pada bulan Ogos 2022.
In November 2019, the FAA was previously reported to have downgraded CAAM's safety rating from Category 1 to Category 2. Datuk Seri Dr. Wee also said that his ministry was collaborating with the Foreign Ministry and CAAM had already formulated a strategy to obtain support to retain the International Civil Aviation Organization ICAO Council member seat. In sports, JDT maintains standing at the top of Super League. Stay with us. Eight-time consecutive champions Johor Darul Takzim JDT continued to dominate the Super League after thrashing Kuala Lumpur KLCT FC 5-0 at Sultan Ibrahim Stadium, Iskandar Puteri on Monday night. Striker Bergson da Silva opened accounts with a penalty conversion in the 6th minute after Fernando Martin Forestieri was brought down by KLCT defender Giancarlo Gallifoca before scoring his second of the match in the 25th minute. JDT then blazed ahead in the second half with another penalty conversion by Leandro Sebastian Velasquez after Arif Ahmad Muhammad Hanapi was fouled by Muhammad Anwar Ibrahim. JDT then slotted in their 4th goal in the 71st minute, courtesy of Argentinian Fernando Martin Forestieri, before ending the match 5-0 when Muhammad Safawi Rashid scored 12 minutes later. The 5-0 thrashing is Hector Pablo Bidoglio's first victory as the head coach after replacing Benjamin Mora.
Il uomo vamos a tomar con la seriedad que se merece, sabiendo que es un partido que tenemos que salir a ganarlo, a ser protagonista y a tratar de seguir creciendo.
Seri Pahang FC under interim head coach Datuk Dollah Saleh returned to its winning ways by registering its second consecutive victory in the Super League. After beating Selangor 2-0 last week, Seri Pahang FC defeated Kedah Darul Aman KDA FC 2-0 at the Darul Makmur Stadium in Kuantan on Monday night.
14 di antara Seri Pahang.
Dollah, who had received his datukship from the Pahang Sultan recently, together with his former national teammate Datuk Zainal Abidin Hassan, said the understanding among players had improved significantly over the last two matches. He said there were mistakes here and there, but overall the players were well organised and not disrupted by the rhythm displayed by the opponents. The players also showed a high level of discipline, according to Dollah after the match. Seri Pahang's young striker Andres Steven Rodriguez was the toast of the team when he struck both the goals in the 31st and 67th minute. Meanwhile, KDA-FC head coach Aidil Shahrin Saha admitted that the absence of a number of first-choice players due to injury was apparent in the last two matches. Last week, KDA-FC lost 1-2 to Kuala Lumpur City FC. Young sprinter Muhammad Azim Muhammad Fahmi's sensational run at the World Athletics U20 Championship in Cali, Colombia has elevated his status as the best current junior sprinter in Asia. The 18-year-old Azim shattered the old national record of 10.18 seconds held by former SEA Games sprint champion Hairul Hafiz Jantan since the 2016 Sukma in Kuching, Sarawak. His coach, Muhammad Amir Izwan Tan Abdullah, said though he had expected his charge to set a new record, he did not expect such a pleasant surprise early. Based on calculation and analysis of Azim's performance and progress, the sprinter, who has a personal best time of 10.28 seconds, was due to shatter the national mark at the Sukma in September. Speaking in Cali, Muhammad Amir believes Azim can break the national record again when competing in the semi-finals or final if he qualifies, which will be held on Tuesday. Azim, who was racing in Heat 8 at the Pascual Guerrero Olympic Stadium on Monday, was among 24 runners who qualified for the semi-finals, and his time of 10.09 seconds was the second fastest in the Blue Ribbon event at the championships. The only runner who surpassed his time was Botswana's 19-year-old Leslie Tebogo, who clocked 10 seconds to erase the championship record after winning Heat 3. That's it from us this evening. In our top story, Washington, a vital partner to Malaysia in various aspects. Join us for updates at noon at 12:30 tomorrow. I'm Shuhaida Arifin. Thank you for watching.